Okay, enough of that. Welcome back, everybody. I'm joined with Max Carus again, or Dom Smith, known in the bottom left
Yeah,
corner. Today
yeah.
we're talking about the Mets and really just the MLB as a whole going into this weird, shortened COVID-19 season. Yeah,
60 games.
60 games. So obviously a lot of rule changes that took place for this season. The runner on second base to start the extra innings, the universal DH, and then the same rule from last year with the getting rid of kind of the left-hand specialists. Every pitcher has to face at least three batters. So we can get right into it with what we think the Mets potential lineup will look like with the DH, and I'll let Max get started with that. We'll go one by one, going lead off, then I'll say my lead off, kind of like we did for the mock drafts.
Before we get into that, though, I want to ask you about the universal DH.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's the first time that it's happening. AL has always, for people who don't know, AL has always had a DH. In the NL is the league where the pitchers normally hit. So for the Mets, DeGrom, Syndergaard, we are lucky, and Steven Matz, they're pretty good hitters. But for these other NL teams, we've seen in the past, like Bartolo Colon, these guys can't hit. So the averages should be boosted, more home runs, more people on base. So what are your thoughts on the universal DH coming in for the short season?
Specifically for the Mets, I think it bodes them well. I think they have a lot of options, a lot of things they could do, but
They got options.
they got they,
Let's
they got
pop it.
options. But for teams where the pitchers don't hit as well. Obviously, Steven Matz is a very good hitter as a pitcher, and obviously, Syndergaard has a few home runs in his career. I think it really helps most teams in the NL because they do have a lot of bench depth, and I think it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, mainly because there'll be more sort of interleague play this year with kind of playing with just the NL East play the AL East, the NL Central play the AL Central, stuff like that. So I think it'll be interesting to see how they going up against each other more with the DH.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I think it's weird that this sport has one league plays one way and the other league plays a different way. I think it's very weird. But the only thing I will say about it is it's kind of like the history of baseball
Yeah.
that I like about it. But other than that, I mean, it's utterly it's absurd that one league does one thing. It would be like the NBA. I don't even know. I don't even want to give a stupid analogy, but I'm happy with it. I'm very excited that it's the universal DH, and hopefully it carries on. So we'll get started with the lineup. I personally think it could go a couple different ways.
Yeah.
But me and you've talked off air. I think the consensus is that Nimmo's going to bat leadoff.
You think?
I could see it being Rosario. I could see it being Nimmo. I thought when we talked the other day that you were also set on Nimmo bat one.
I could see a bunch of different people leading off. But who I want to lead off personally is Ahmed Rosario. But I don't think he will lead off. I think it'll be Brandon Nimmo.
I feel like in a short game season, guys like Rosario, if they can start off hot with his speed, when he gets into a groove, I really feel that he might not start the season batting leadoff, but batting him at the 9 hole.
Yeah.
And then working his way up, and then if for some reason Nimmo gets cold, you can flip flop. It's not like the only thing I like is it's the classic old saying of my buddy Tyler Henchcliffe. It's 9 top. So with the universal DH, you start with Rosario batting the 9 hole, and then it leads back up to the top of the order, and you go 9-1-2. So I think it's going to be Nimmo, like you said, but I wouldn't be mad with Rosario.
No, I think if it was Nimmo Rosario, I like McNeil on the 2 hole, but either of those guys, I would not be upset with, which I already said in the 2 hole. I do think, and I want it to be Jeff McNeil, just a base hit machine. He's always on base. Great player. I think he's a top 30 player in baseball, and I think he's gonna play a lot of third base, and I think he's gonna be in the 2 hole.
Yeah, and then followed up by the man, the myth, the legend, Pete Alonso.
Yeah,
There is just no. I think it's consensus here. He's batting the 3-hole.
yeah. There's
53 home runs, 120 RBIs. My opinion, if he bats for a little bit higher of an average, hot take, be one of the best hitters in baseball.
yeah.
Um,
I'll take a 280 average with maybe 5 less home runs, but
I mean, if he can get that average up 20 points, bat 280, I mean, that's ridiculous. And if he still couldn't hit 45 in a regular season, in a 162 game season, could still hit 45 plus home runs and 100 plus RBIs. I mean, the guy's ridiculous.
it's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. And then followed up, obviously, at cleanup. Michael Conforto
Mhm.
had a great season hitting last year. Had 33 home runs, 92 RBIs. He looked like he was in a groove. He looked like it from the couple of spring training things at Citi Field that I've watched some videos from our good friend Anthony DeComo. He looks excited. He looks like he's ready to hit. He's ready to play, and a little bit of a leader role, I want to say, from Michael Conforto.
Yeah, I agree. Here's the thing with Michael. I love Michael Conforto.
Yeah,
Um,
you're very high on him. You're higher on him than I am.
I love him, but I think this is a huge year for him. He is a free agent um, in 2 years, but I think sometimes what he does throughout a season is he'll be extremely hot and then he'll go cold for a month, and then he's hot again and he's cold. So that's why his average may not look good, but he's always on base. His on base percentage, his slugging percentage is fantastic. So I think it's a big year for him. We can't have him be streaky. If he is streaky, I don't think it'll be good for the Mets. So I do think
In a short season.
I definitely think he'll hit cleanup against righties, against lefties. We'll see, but he also needs to get that average up against lefties. I think he did hit almost 250 last year against them, but I do think he'll bat cleanup. And then going into the 5-hole, it could be Cespedes if he's DHing, but I'm going to say it's Wilson Ramos. I think he's a fantastic hitter. Even at the beginning of the year last year, he's always a guy who starts off hot. Had one of the best batting averages in the league in the entire MLB in that first month last year. And I think he'll bat fifth. I think he's an RBI machine, sort of backing up.
Not to cut you off, but the guy gets on base for as slow as he is. I think he batted close to 290 last year, 288. The only thing is, I was expecting more power from him. He didn't hit for much power last year. I think only 15 home runs or 14 home runs. But I could see this when you get to 5 through 9. It all depends on Cespedes.
Yes.
Because if Cespedes is going to be a fat mess and not play baseball, like he hasn't played, I saw a tweet, he hasn't been on Citi Field since the other day, 24 months, hasn't played a baseball game. He's been a fat mess, slipping everywhere. If he plays and he's healthy and he bats in the 5-hole and you bump everyone back 1 or 2, it's you don't know. But I like Ramos. I know you're very high on him.
Yeah. I don't think he's a doubles hitter, definitely not a triples hitter. I think he's a singles hitter, and I think maybe a little more power this year in a 60-game season would be nice, and I think it would be a huge help for the Mets, which is why I like him. I like him in the 5-hole behind Conforto, behind Pete, behind McNeil. Guys who get on base, and as a singles hitter, he'll definitely have a lot of opportunity for RBIs. That's why I think he's going to fit well in that 5-hole.
So now, is this we're making this lineup with a healthy Cespedes?
The healthy Cespedes.
Okay. So next, then I'm going to have in the 6-hole. Yoenis Cespedes could have been JD Davis. I feel like 5, 6, 7. They can all flip flop. JD, he gets on, he hits, and he had one of the best averages on the Mets last year. He's the type of player that I feel like if he gets more of a prominent role batting towards the cleanup spot and in front or behind real hitters, he's going to make a huge difference for us. And in another 6-game season, a guy who bats for average is going to help us, when we're going into the playoffs and making a run.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go Yoenis Cespedes, the 6th spot too. Yeah, going back on JD. I only bat him low because he might not play every day. He's not going to play as much as Pete and Jeff and Ahmed because they do have tons of depth in the outfield. Remember, they did acquire Jake Marisnick. They do have Dom Smith, who you're very high on.
It's my guy.
It's his guy. But no, JD's a great player. I think, like Max said, it could be anywhere from that 6 to 9 range. It could just interchange, but I'm going to go at 6. Yoenis Cespedes.
Mm-hmm. And then at 7.
7, I'm going to go Robbie Cano. I think it's an easy choice here.
Yeah, I agree with Robbie. He kind of spiraled. I hate to say it. I would with that whole trade. I know people, whatever they thought about it, but he didn't have a great year last year. I just feel like he can he only batted .250, but I feel like he can really pop off. He can hit for – I don't know where his power is, if he can still hit for that power. But if he can get that average up into the 280s for the 60-game season that we're going to play, having Robinson Cano in the 7 hole, he's a little bit aged, but –
I think he's still an elite hitter.
It's dangerous. It's very dangerous. The one thing I've always told you about Robbie Cano is I know he does everything nonchalant, and that's his shtick and everything. But watching him run down the first base line on a ground ball makes me so mad.
Yes, I agree.
It's the one thing. But I feel like if he can bat for average and he can stay healthy, that's the key. He only played in about 100 games last year. In this shortened season, he didn't hit for power at all. What did he hit last year? I'm looking now. He only hit 13 home runs last year. But,
yeah, if he can find that power and he can sort of be even half of what he was, even in that year in Seattle where he hit 300, then that's fine with me. In the 7 hole, it's dangerous. 8 hole, I think we're going to both agree that it's going to be JD Davis.
Yeah, so what I had JD at possibly 6. It all depends because if you go Yoenis 5, Wilson Ramos 6, you can go Robbie 7, JD 8 there. It can fluctuate in any way. So yeah, I agree. If we're gonna go with the lineup that you're stating, JD 8, and then I think it's an obvious choice at Ahmed at 9, and you have the 9 top with him and Nimmo. But like we said, I think they can flip flop.
Yeah, I agree. It's a dangerous lineup. I think it's a very, very good lineup.
I think the most dangerous part about the lineup is the guys on the bench can hit.
They have a lot of depth. Maybe Jed Lowry will step on a baseball field this year. Eduardo Nunez is a signing that is the guy they have. Jake Marisnick in the outfield, and then backup catcher, sort of a competition between a younger Tomas Nido and a Rene Rivera. I'm always for defense at the back and backup catcher, so I think it'll be Nido. But I mean, we'll see. I think it's a very deep team.
I mean, Thomas Nido's a clubhouse guy.
He's a great guy.
He's a great. We've met him a couple times. He's a good guy. Yeah. Also, veteran signing Gordon Beckham, Melky Cabrera.
Of course.
Me and him spoke on Instagram DMs the other night.
Shout out Irvin Santana. He follows me on Twitter.
I told you he just followed. I showed you he followed me on Twitter.
He follows the entire Carus family.
Yeah, we love Irvin Santana. Yeah, I don't know why he just randomly followed one day. How is Irvin Santana just clicking follow on me with like 200 followers?
All right.
Yeah, Melky answered the DMs. Melky's a good dude. But yeah, the Mets have a dangerous lineup. It's 60 games, so anything can happen. You could see Mike Trout bat 900. You don't know. You could see Pete Alonso have the most home runs in a 6-game span in MLB history.
Yeah.
It's anything goes, and I think we have a lineup to do it. It's just the question that it's always been: can we stay healthy?
Yeah. Now let me ask you this.
Let me hear it.
Your guy, I love him. I really do. Dom Smith. Where do you think he falls into this team? Not just this year, but next year, in a 162-game season.
It's tough. I mean, the guy has patience.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks because he's going to bounce around in the field, and
he's not going to play first base.
He'll never play first base because it's impossible with obviously Pete in front of him. But I think the universal DH that will obviously help get him more at bats.
Mhm.
I don't know where he fits in because the nine we just named are the nine that should be playing basically.
Yes.
Um, but I just don't want him to grow if he doesn't play a lot. Not saying he won't play a lot, but if he doesn't get the time that he wants this year, is he going to grow frustrated into the offseason going into next season
Correct.
and kind of just turn it off?
I agree. I think
Where do you see fit for him?
it's tough. I love him. I think he's a great hitter.
I
I think
love him.
he
He's a
was
sick hitter.
he was very good last year. He was very, very good. Um, I think JD's a better fielder than him in left field. Um, so it's tough. I mean, he doesn't play left field that often. He's a great first baseman. He's a great fielder. So I mean, I can't see in a game where the Mets have the lead going into the later innings, they double switch Pete out or have Dom play first. But I don't know. My biggest fear with Dom Smith is they'll trade him for like a reliever.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
yeah,
Deep into the season when
exactly.
right, he goes somewhere else and he rakes and I mean, look, he's also such a good guy in the clubhouse. I
Right.
mean, remember what he did the last game of the season last year?
Love him.
I mean, you can't write it up. He was hurt a lot last season also, but you said it perfectly. I can totally see next season, let's even say, Mets going for a title run. Dominic Smith gets traded for a veteran relief
Yeah.
pitcher that pitches for us for 25 games, and then that's that. And Dom Smith goes to who knows where, Detroit, and rakes at bets 280 and
Yeah.
does that. But yeah, I mean, going into the other side of the baseball, we have the best pitcher in baseball, in Jacob DeGrom. That's nice to say. It has a nice ring to it. Cy Young winner, 2-time. What do you think about him going into the 60-game season? And I guess my question to you is, how many games do you see him pitching? And I know Rojas said that they're going to try and keep it consistent, but how many innings you want to see him pitch?
I don't know. It's tough because they have five capable starters. Of course, Noah Syndergaard went down with Tommy John, but they do have the depth of Rick Porcello and Michael Wacha. So I think they can have a nice rotation where he does pitch every 5 days. Um, I don't. I really. It's tough to say how many games he'll pitch. Um, I really don't want to make any predictions because for all we know, the season could be again a wash tomorrow, which I hope not, but
And to knock on wood, it's a possibility.
it's a possibility. But I don't know. I think his ERA will be around somewhere around 2.3, 2.4. I think that's a very, very good. And we know he doesn't get a lot of wins because this team can't get him run support. But I don't know.
I
Wins
mean, he had 11. He had 11 wins last year in 32 starts.
11 wins, and I think he had what 8 or 9 the first
Eight
time.
losses.
Whatever. I mean, I think 2.3, 2.4 is where I want to see him. He'll easily be the best pitcher on the team this year, as he is. He will be for the rest of his time in New York, hopefully his entire career. And he's got great pitchers behind him too to back him up the next few days. Marcus Stroman, Steven Matz. Hopefully, Steven Matz is back to a Steven post All-Star game form. And yeah, I mean, what do you see his ERA
I
at?
mean, I saw this great tweet about Steven Matz a little while ago. Let me find it real quick, but let me see. No, I mean, it's a 60-game season. It's short. I
Mm-hmm.
think the guy could have a 1.9 ERA even. Like, you never know. He's that crazy good that if he gets into a rhythm,
Yeah,
uh, it could be curtains for hitters.
yeah,
But Noah going down. Personally, I'm not a Noah fan. I like him off the field, but it's just been way too many seasons consistently where it's just like, all right, he's gonna pop off, he's gonna pop off, he's gonna pop off, and he doesn't. Although he does still have the potential with the heat that he brings and everything. But I think if Stroman and Matz can be the guys behind him,
mm-hmm.
then it's more comfort for DeGrom. I felt DeGrom it's frustrating for him when he goes out and throws 7 scoreless innings and gets 1 run of run support going into
Yeah.
8 and 9.
Yeah.
Especially last year when you knew Diaz was absolutely a wrecking ball, going to blow it. And Familia literally couldn't locate anything. But here's the tweet that I was looking for. Mats, after the All-Star break last season, 14 starts at a 3.5 ERA. He was 75 strikeouts and 79 in a 1 inning.
Yeah.
So
That's very
if
good.
he's that form,
Solid.
he's a legit pitcher. So
Yeah.
I think the Mets have a pretty good rotation. I like the veteran to add. Hopefully Porcello and Waka can
Listen,
still bring what they have.
if either of them can give me 5 innings, 6 innings of 3-run baseball, then I'll be happy.
It's gonna be 1 game of no runs, and then the next game they're gonna give up 8 runs in the first 2 innings, and
Yeah.
then
But then again,
I mean,
would you rather have Jason Vargas?
Jason Vargas was the greasiest, worst baseball pitcher I've ever seen in my life. And when he went to Philadelphia, right? Correct.
Correct.
When he went to Philadelphia, I wanted him to take him and his grease with him because he was disgusting. But yeah, obviously we're missing Noah.
Yeah.
I think a short season would have even helped Noah, but we added depth and we have the guys of Lugo, Diaz, Familia. What do you see with the closing situation, and what do you see with the setup in the 8?
Yeah. Before that, I want to say
Mhm.
one more thing about Noah. I
Yeah,
think
of course.
people hold him to where he needs to be like DeGrom, and he's always being compared to him like a Cy Young. I don't think he'll ever be that, and I don't think the expectation for him should be that. I think the expectation for him should be a 3.2 ERA and he's a very solid pitcher. And even Josh Carus is guilty of thinking he's a Cy Young caliber pitcher, but I don't think he is. I don't think he will be, especially after the surgery. But I do think he's a very, very good pitcher, and I do hope he's here with the Mets long term. But
And I
now,
think
yeah,
I think you did say it best. Like people like me, like I think he's not great because I always thought that he was going to be the Cy Young candidate, or we were going to have the 2 best pitchers in baseball side by side,
yeah,
going back to back days, to opening day and then the second day. So it's just frustrating for me when he's a 4 ERA,
mm-hmm.
4.5 ERA, and then he gets hurt because you're right. I expect him to be what he was when we got him, but if he can have a 3 ERA, by all means, when he comes back and he can stay healthy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the closing situation.
Closing situation. I think it'll be a mix. I think one day it could be Lugo. I think most times it'll be Lugo. It could be Diaz. I think it's going to be mainly those 2 guys. I think going into those later innings, you obviously have Betances, who seems to be fully healthy, knock on wood.
Yeah.
No, and then made ads with guys with experience like Hunter Strickland, Jared Hughes. Remember, you still have Justin Wilson and Jerry's Familia. If Jerry's Familia could be half of what he was when he left the Mets in 2016, or when he left the Mets in 2016 and 2018, if he could be half of what he was, then I'd be happy with that. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how the bullpen works, especially with games every single day, like rarely day offs after series, and see what the closing situation will be. What do you think it'll be? I think it'll be mostly Lugo.
Yeah, so I read something from Rojas that
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I saw that.
you saw the same tweet, I think, that it could be by committee even.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, if it was the same thing as last year, they're pitching the same way. It's going to be Lugo, but I would love to see Lugo, and then you see Diaz maybe before him, and then I'm eager to see Betances. I don't know what to even expect out of him,
Yeah.
but I love that we have him. But I think it's going to be Lugo in the 9. I think he's just you got to trust somebody. How many games did we lose or get blown by Diaz last year?
Infuriating.
You can kind of do that in a 162-game season. Not really, but you definitely can't do that in a 60-game season when every single game is just important as the next.
Exactly.
So I think it
Sorry.
will be Lugo in the 9, but at the same time, he's the luxury of being able to go by committee or switch it up if needed.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about, for the non-Met fans here, we can talk about maybe some award predictions.
Yeah.
some Cy Young, AL and NL. Obviously for NL, I'm going to go with both my boy Jacob deGrom.
Can I say one thing before we do this
Go ahead.
that we completely forgot? I want to take this time to express how upset I am that Juan Lagares is no longer a Met.
Oh, of course. Of course.
I have never – I'm a Mets, I'm a Giants, and I'm a Knicks fan. Love them all. I don't know if I've ever loved a player more than I love Juan Lagares in any of the three teams. He was so swaggy. He was so good in the field for most of the time. And whenever he hit it off the bat,
Yeah.
2 out of 10 times, but I thought it was good. But yeah, Juan Lagares no longer Met. Believe in the San Diego Padres.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know how much I love him.
I'm going to say something, and you're going to be upset with me for it. But I think we got an upgrade for that backup center field position, Jake Marisnick.
Marisnick's good.
Marisnick is a very solid fielder and a better hitter than Juan was. Juan at times was painful to watch at bat last year.
Yeah, Juan couldn't hit.
But I'm very sorry about Juan no longer being in.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite part of every Met game the last 2-3 seasons was we have a lead going into the ninth. Juan Lagares comes into play center field and records 1 out or a put out, and we win the ball game and Juan slapping in the outfield with everyone. But yeah, Juan Lagares, I'll continue to watch him. Might even get his Padres jersey. Who knows? But yeah, I'm obviously biased, but NL Cy Young, Jacob deGrom.
Yeah,
I don't even think it will be close. I think Scherzer's a reject. I don't even know. I think the NL East there's a lot of good pitching, but I just don't see another. Jacob deGrom is the best pitcher in baseball, and he'll win another Cy Young. People might put an asterisk next to it because it was 60 games, but at the end of the day,
it's a Cy Young.
It's a Cy Young. And in the AL,
I pains me to say, but I think Garrett Cole will take the AL Cy Young.
See, I want to say he won't, but if he doesn't, I don't really know.
The only reason I could see him not winning it is because that ballpark.
That's what the ballpark's
like the Munis here in Montville. It's a terrible ballpark. So,
it is trash.
I despise it, and it's.
I went twice last year.
It's very nice. It's a very nice stadium.
Both for Subway Series games, but yeah, I could see Garrett. I could see one of two ways. Garrett Cole struggling, and they're like, "Oh, another guy we signed to a huge contract, sucking." Or I could see him just having like a .98 ERA and just being like, "All right, this guy's insane."
I think he will be insane. Now, don't get me wrong, Yankee Stadium, it's very nice. It's very nice in the, the concessions, everything like that. But I think the dimensions in the actual field is terrible, and I hate the Yankees, and I never will ever respect them. Okay, moving on.
How about Giancarlo Stanton last night hitting an absolute piss missile to the head of Masahiro Tanaka?
Why aren't they using a screen?
They I don't. What is wrong? First of all, why wasn't he wearing masks? No, I'm just kidding. But why in the world are they not using a screen? Why are you having Stanton? First of all, let me say this about Stanton. All right, I have very hard feelings towards Stanton from his Marlins days. This guy can't stay on the field. Can't. Literally, he can't. Finally gets back on the field, and what does he do? He's like, all right, I don't want to get hurt, so let me hurt my teammate. Let me hit a 100-mile-per-hour piss missile back into the head of Masahiro Tanaka, right? And then just stand there like, oh, my God. Run over to the guy and help him. I mean, now Stan's not hurting himself. He's hurting others.
Yeah, he's hurting others.
But the Yankees have a squad.
They do.
I don't care what you say. They have a squad.
They're a very good team. And then we'll talk about who I think will win, and both of us think will win the MVPs. It might be an asterisk, but I think to stay consistent in a 60-game season, playing every day, no off days, is very difficult. But I think we'll both agree for the AL MVP.
It's not close.
Like Trout. Best player I've ever seen play baseball in my lifetime. And then the NL.
Yeah, I mean, it's not close with Trout. Sorry, my microphone cut out there. But Yeah, he's ridiculous. He might be the best player of all time.
Who? And then the NL. I think this guy's my favorite player, not on the Mets. He's best fielder in baseball. I think he's great. Colorado. He's always
Love him.
hitting home runs. Nolan Arenado. I absolutely love this guy. I think he's a superstar, and I think I'm making a bold prediction. He's going to win NL MVP this year.
You think so, Nolan Arenado?
So
Um,
Colorado is a team to watch out for.
you know, I can see it being a couple people. Where Bellinger won it last year, I could see him. I could see Yelich. He's healthy. Yelich was raking when he got hurt. I hope maybe Petey 60 game. It's tough for him because like he doesn't. You got to hit for average. Yeah, but I could see it being Bellinger, Yelich. A hot take with Arenado. Arenado's I feel like he gets overlooked.
I think so too. I think he's a great player.
But moving into standings predictions, the NL East is tough. You got New York, you got Atlanta, you got Philadelphia, and you got Washington.
Is that your prediction?
No. I'm just telling you who we have. The World Series champions, Washington Nationals. You have to say it. But I think the Phillies are low-key a mess right now. I saw something that Girardi said, like half their pitchers haven't even showed up to camp yet. Granted, Zach Wheeler's baby mama is about to pop out with a baby. So maybe that's why he hasn't Dominique Rizzo, pride of New Jersey. But I think it's going to go New York, Atlanta, Washington, Philadelphia, Miami.
I'm going to agree. I think it's going to be the Mets, the Atlanta Braves. I don't know. I think it's tough between the Washington Nationals and the Philadelphia Phillies. I think it'll be the Phillies, then Nationals, and then obviously the lowly Marlins.
I think it depends on whether Bryce Harper wants to continue to be a reject and or he wants to actually hit for once.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be close, but it's a great division. It's one of the best in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Before I guess we wrap it up, two things I want to cover.
Yeah.
Number one, your boy Jed Lowry.
He's incredibly frustrating. Yesterday he said, I don't want to cause any distractions for the team, so I'm not going to talk about my injury. Or I'm not going to specify what the injury is. And then obviously the Twitterverse, Mets Twitter blows up because that causes even more distraction, even more confusion, even more frustration for Met fans. And I think the players too, because this guy can't he can't get on the field. He can't do it. He's still in a brace from God knows how long ago. He's incredibly frustrating. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play again this year. Let the season go by. Don't re-sign him. Ship him off to anywhere. Let him have a nice life with his family. Hope his children, his wife is doing fantastic. I hope he stays safe. But I don't want to see him in a Mets uniform.
Yeah, he is incredibly frustrating. For the last how many months, it's he's healthy, he's not healthy, he's healthy, he's not healthy. He's gonna play, he's not gonna play. I don't even want him on the Mets anymore. He's too much of a distraction. Who knows even if he does come back, whether he can even be even a shell of himself. But yeah, you go on Twitter every day and it's just new Jed Lowry stuff. It's all spew. It's all BS. Like you said, I don't even know if he plays this year.
It's just what was the second thing you wanted to cover? I'm sorry.
No, the last thing I wanted to cover is just World Series predictions.
World Series predictions. Mets win. Mets beat the. I don't know. It's tough.
You're gonna sound very biased.
You're gonna sound very biased. Mets beat the Yankees 4-0.
Yeah, I think we talked about this. I think it's a Subway Series. I really do.
Awesome. It'd be awesome.
It would be sick. I don't care what anyone says. It would be sick.
Yeah.
I could totally see it being a Subway Series. I think we have two of the best teams in baseball.
Non-bias, I think it'll be Dodgers-Yankees.
You think Dodgers-Yankees? I mean, the Dodgers are due.
They're so good.
They just blow it. I mean,
Price is not playing this year.
He's not.
Sitting out.
And I think more people are going to continue to sit out as this goes on.
Yeah, and then
Um,
listen,
it depends. Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
yeah. Clayton Kershaw. I mean, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball in the regular season, and then postseason comes and it's like peekaboo. He gets scared. He's James Harden in the playoffs.
Yeah. Now I think this will be like a fun series as the baseball season approaches. Kind of talk about maybe like a week in review in the baseball world because
Mhm.
there will be a lot of reports, a lot of things to talk about with this terrible virus, COVID-19,
Hope
and
everyone's staying healthy.
hope everyone's staying healthy and safe. Summer camp and then opening day. So thank you so much, Max, for joining
Of
me. This
course.
was fun. I'd love to continue this kind of baseball talk thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
LFGM.
Yes. Yes, sir. And like you said, I think we should do a little recap of once July 23rd and all those dates come around. After every week, we can recap some of the games from the Mets and around the league, and it's going to be exciting. Sports are finally back. Love the UFC, love the PGA,
Yeah.
love NASCAR, but it's time for the MLB, the NBA, and the NFL to come back. But thanks for having me on. Make sure everyone goes and follows Sam's YouTube page, subscribe and like. Of a link, you just swipe up, and continue to like it.
All right. Thank you, everyone.